Hi everyone, welcome back to Tea and Ketchup. I'm Trista.
And I'm Kassia.
And we're excited for another week. And I'm kind of impressed that we're doing another week.
OMG. The second week in a row. I didn't know I was capable of it. You were always capable of it. I was the I was the weak link.
No, you're not the weak link. You're just not as motivated.
So the weak link.
Just a disclaimer again, and I'm going to give these the first few episodes, of course, is if you are my client and you feel that this is going to disrupt our therapeutic relationship in any way, this is your chance to leave, because we will be talking about the news. I will be having opinions, and I am a human too, but I will not negate your opinions either.
Do I get a disclaimer too?
Sure, what disclaimer do you want?
Hold on, I have to decide what to disclaim. Oh, I know what I'm going to disclaim. That I'm not a journalist.
Yes.
That everything I talk about is just what the internet told me.
And what you've perceived. Also, our cats are having spicy time. I guess that's a bad...
You say it like that. No, they're just in a spicy mood.
They're in spicy moods, meaning, I guess we can't say that either. They're being feisty.
And so they're running around. Say just sounds sexual. There's nothing sexual happening. They're both just in a mood.
True.
A bad mood.
I wouldn't say they're in a bad mood. They're just playing and running around and hissing at each other.
Ah, yes, playing.
Anyway, well, I thought that we would jump right in. However, we also didn't bring up last week, which I think is funny because this is a weird name for a podcast. So I think we need to kind of describe why we named the podcast. And I didn't come up with it. Kassia came up with it.
Yes, I came up with it because, well, Trista calls me Ketchup, and she'll tell you why, I guess. But she calls me Ketchup, and Trista's also spilling tea, and I'm Ketchup. And so my brain said, tea and ketchup. Weird. And then it stuck in my brain.
Well, and she doesn't call me tea. I'll put that out there. But it was like cute. I don't know. So I call her Ketchup because my car, when your car is like, who do you want to call? If I say Kassia, it won't send me to Kassia. But if I say Ketchup, it'll send me to Ketchup, aka Kassia. So that's why she's now Ketchup.
Do I appreciate it? I don't know. You try being named after a sauce that people dip their French fries into.
Listen.
You tell me.
Listen, I just, I love a good nickname, but she's had nicknames for me throughout the years. This is just my chance.
Yep.
Anyway.
I don't think I really have a Ekman. I don't know.
Well, the other thing too to kind of like what we've been up to lately, house shopping.
Oh, house shopping. Buying a house is so much.
Stressful.
So much brain power. So much time.
Yeah. But we think we found one that we really like and are going to get.
Yeah, we'll see. It's exciting.
But honestly, that's what we've been up to, is I work my life away and Kassia works her life and then sleeps her life away.
Oh, yeah, no, I use my life very fulfillingly. So fulfillingly.
Listen, we have hobbies.
That's true. I paint.
I read.
I've been reading some books. I got a library card.
Yeah, you got a library card.
But that was like 2 months ago. I've had a library card now. It's been exciting.
We do art and board game nights and video games, and we do a lot of things. So I can't say we waste our life away.
And now we house hunt on our Saturdays.
Yeah, and that's been crazy for my caffeine intake because I have to get up earlier than I normally do, which sucks.
Can't imagine having to worry about my caffeine intake.
Anyway. Well, just to get started, we did the Kardashian quiz last week, and Kassia did pretty well on that. And so she brought up Jersey Shore has its own category of reality TV, and she called it the Jersey Shore category.
Yeah.
Kardashians, Jersey Shore.
If you're just
Vanderpump Rules, Jersey Shore. And sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you're just a bunch of people doing things, you're a Jersey Shore. You could go on Jersey Shore and thrive, probably.
And the funny thing is some of these Jersey Shore quiz questions that I'm going to ask her are things that I've told her before that she's probably not retained any of it because it's not important to her.
There's a duck phone.
There is a duck phone. You ready for the quiz?
Yeah.
Okay. Number 1. How many individuals were in season 1 of the Jersey Shore house?
13.
No.
And one of them left halfway through the season.
Not 13.
10?
No.
6?
No.
How many?
8.
I was right-ish.
No.
I was skirting around there.
And bonus points for the names that you know.
Oh, Trista.
I've told her names before.
Hold on, I almost said her name, but then I was like, maybe that's not Jersey Shore. Snooki.
Snooki.
The Situationship.
Mike the Situation.
Someone's got to be named Sam.
Yes.
I knew it. That's all I know about Sam, though, is that they've got to be there. Vinny. I'm getting bonus points for this, right? These are bonus points? Good, because I'm going to get all the other ones wrong. So I need to name 10 Jersey Shore characters right
There's
now.
8.
There's side characters.
And so you have 4. You have halfway there. Do you know any of the rest of them?
Frankie.
No.
I just made that name up. That's how I thought the Vinny name was going to go. I was going to say it. Or not Vinny, Sam. I just said Sam, and I was like, it's got to be someone.
Sammy Sweetheart.
Sammy Sweetheart. I thought she was a different person, so crap. Guess that's all the same person. Well, I only know 4.
Okay.
Those must be the main characters.
Sure. There's JWoww.
Okay.
Pauly D.
Paula Dean. No. I keep forgetting about them.
And then Angelina was the one that left halfway through.
I knew someone left halfway through.
And then Ron.
So there were 8 and now there's 7? Or there were 9 and now there's 8?
No, there are 8 and then there's 7. And then
I understand.
She left, and so season 3, Dina came into the house.
I can't believe there's more than one season of this.
Okay. Well, good job. You got 4 right.
I got 4 points.
Okay. In the original Jersey Shore, not the family reunion, who was Sam in the relationship with?
With Frankie. Muniz.
Nope.
That's the only Frankie I can think of. Then I don't know. You're looking at me expectantly like this is something.
Should I name off all the people and maybe you can take a multiple choice?
Oh, you want me the Situationship?
No. Okay.
Vinny.
No. JWoww is a girl. Kassia.
I wasn't gonna say JWoww. I was gonna say Joey. So I clearly don't know. Okay. I'm just making up names.
She was in a relationship with Ron.
What? Oh, okay. Ron is just. That's like when
she
like,
goes, Ron.
That's that guy named Ron is like in Pac-Man. All the ghosts are named like Pinky, Dinky, Inky, and then there's Clyde. That's who Ron is. Ron is the Clyde of the group. Okay.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Poor guy.
Moving on. Speaking of Sam, who wrote the infamous letter to Sam?
Snooki.
And
I don't know. I just know Snooki was one of them.
Okay.
And then there was... Okay, hold on. I'm going to... JWoww.
Yes.
Heck yeah.
Snooki and JWoww. Mm-hmm.
I only guessed her because you said that was a girl and not a boy. And I knew it was a girl that did it.
Yep. Do you know what the letter said?
The letter said, yo man's cheating on you.
Yeah.
Because I...
My
Was
cat's
it...
crying.
Oh, I forgot that that anybody else can hear that. So... Anyway...
Yeah. Okay. Where do the Jersey Shore cast members mainly work at? And I've told you this before.
It's not a t-shirt shop. It is a t-shirt shop.
It's a t-shirt shop.
It is a t-shirt shop.
Bonus points if you can tell me the 2 other jobs that they worked at that wasn't at the t-shirt shop.
A smoothie,
No.
Juice,
No.
ice cream, frozen yogurt,
Mhm,
frozen yogurt.
Mm-hmm.
Those are all the same category, okay?
Okay.
They're all the same category.
And what's the other one?
A skateboard shop.
No.
I don't know.
A pizza shop.
A pizza shop. Oh, that
In
should have been
Italy.
obvious. They were in Italy?
Yeah.
That's exciting. So it
Mhm.
was the Venice
Because
Shore.
they're all Italian. The Guidos, remember?
I remember the Guidos. Oh my gosh. I
Okay.
learned so much about a Guido.
You ready?
Yeah.
Number 5. What does GTL stand for?
My brain tried to autofill and ultimately came up with get the leash. That's not it, but that's get the leash. I'm sticking with it. What does it mean?
Gym Tan Laundry.
Gym Tan Laundry. That sounds like something you'd find on a plaque sold in Michael's
It
that you hang
probably
up
is
in
on
your
a plaque
laundry
now.
room.
Gym Tan Laundry. That's their day every day. Gym Tan Laundry.
I told you my life was fulfilling.
Is Gym Tan Laundry not fulfilling enough?
For someone. It's not for me.
Yeah. Well, think about how much easier your life would be if you did your laundry every day. Washed it and then folded it and then put it away.
That's asking a lot from me. Tone it down.
Okay, next one. What does MVP stand for?
Most valuable person.
In the Jersey Shore world.
Trista, that's just made up stuff. Who would know that?
Mikey, Vinny, Polly.
Okay.
MVP.
Anybody can make up an acronym. Good for
Okay.
them. I
What-
can't make up acronyms. No acronyms have the letter K in it.
I gave you this answer already. But what cast member on Jersey Shore was not in the first 2 seasons, but was in the last 4? I literally said this 5 minutes ago.
And you think I retained it? Hold on. Yan? Deanna.
Dina.
Dina! I was so close, okay? Are you proud of me?
Yeah.
Deanna
Yeah.
was so close to
Deanna
Dina.
was close. You were
Deanna,
right.
Dina
Dina.
could have been a Deanna.
Dina
if she
could
was
have been a
born in
Deanna.
an Ohio suburb.
Ooh.
She
You're
could have
so
been
right.
a
And she could have
Deanna.
had the accent.
Yeah.
She would have been so out of place if she was born in a little suburb.
But instead she's a Dina, and good for her. Good for Dina.
Anyway, you should know the answer to this one. Number 8, what cast member was charged and found guilty of tax evasion?
The Situation.
Yes, good job. Which female cast member was punched in the face by a male in season 1 of the show?
Is it Snooki?
Yeah.
Leave my girl alone. Poor Snooks.
And last
Snooks
one,
getting smacked.
who
What?
ran their car into a police car while they were in Italy?
I was going to say Meredith because the first thing I thought of was The Office. I don't know. Polly D.
No.
I've got 7 more tries. Vinny.
No.
Okay, who was it?
Snooki.
Snooki?
and she got arrested.
OMG. Snooki lived a life.
She is a wild girl. But shockingly, she's still in her long-time relationship with the guy from the show. And they're still together
Good
and
for
happy.
them. Wow.
Yeah.
Good for them.
Anyway, that's all for the Jersey Shore quiz.
That was brutal, okay?
For someone who has a whole ass category for reality TV, Jersey Shore, you really don't know much about it.
You should have asked me more about the Kardashians, which are also in the Jersey Shore category, okay? Like, geez. Anyway, but hey, who hasn't been arrested from the Kardashians? Maybe all of them. I don't know.
Chloe's the only one who's been arrested.
They're all Jersey Shore, okay? I don't know what to tell you.
They're all friends.
They're all
And they all
friends
play
that
Ring
do
Around the
things and
Rosies.
sometimes get arrested.
Oh my gosh.
And play Ring Around the Rosies. What's happening?
Never mind. No, don't make your mind wander too far.
It's too late. Anyway.
Okay, well, Kassia, you're up.
All right. Well, my favorite thing I've been so excited to talk about because of the absurdity of it was on March 24th, 2025, which was a Monday. The editor-in-chief of The Atlantic posted an article titled, "The Trump administration accidentally texted me its war plans."
So entertaining.
Says, U.S. national security leaders included me in a group chat about upcoming military strikes in Yemen. I didn't think it could be real. Then the bombs started falling by Jeffrey Goldberg. So, okay. So much to unpack here. First of all, so to break it down is Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, and J.D. Vance, the Vice President, and a myriad of other White House officials were all added to this group chat.
I know Marco Rubio was in there.
Was Marco Rubio okay?
Because he sent an emoji of a strong arm
The emojis.
and a fire.
Yes.
And the only reason I remember his name is from Kassia and I were a poli-sci class together in undergrad, and Professor Lyons would always talk about Marco Rubio, and I remember the way he said it.
Oh my gosh. That
Anyway.
clearly didn't stick with me. But yeah, okay, so Marco Rubio, a bunch of Trump officials, and then Jeffrey Goldberg, the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, was included in this group chat. Now, a lot of things to unpack here. First of all, when you plan war, there are special rooms that you go into. You can't even bring your phone into these rooms to plan the war. And yet, I digress. We're ignoring the fact that you only plan war in these special rooms. So you're supposed to only plan war in these special... If you're communicating about war or anything else having to do with the government, for that matter, there are official channels that you're supposed to use. The app Signal, which was the app that Pete Hegseth chose to plan war in, was not one of these official government channels. It was, it's a private company. But regardless, so it's an unsecure channel that the Secretary of Defense of our country is using to plan war. And not only that, he accidentally included, so that's its own thing. We need to remember, everyone was like, what about the emails? Because Hillary Clinton sent emails on a private server or something.
And then, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go.
My favorite part was they showed a clip from Pete Hegseth, I don't know, a few years ago, being like, if this was anybody, they would be fired immediately. And now look at him. Look at him using his power to not be fired immediately.
Immediate efforts after it was revealed that Jeffrey Goldberg had been included in these chats. The White House was trying to claim that there was no top secret information revealed in this chat, and that's why the society in general doesn't need to be worried. I beg to differ. I would argue that the timing and locations and types of weaponry used and who's involved, I feel like all of that might be, private information, top secret information that it would suck if anybody that wasn't, involved in the operation would have. But I don't run the country. What do I know? And then on top of that, on top of using this unsecure channel, they included the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, who is somebody that the Trump administration, I believe Trump specifically himself, is not a fan of, because immediately after as well, not everyone, Pete Hegseth and Trump, they were all trying to discredit Jeffrey Goldberg and saying that he's a known liar and con man, and I think they're just trying to cover their tails. But how embarrassing. Like, if I were another country, and let's say by some miracle we do get another election and we elect somebody remotely sane into office, let's say that happens, why would any other country want to work with us? Knowing that in 4 years we could elect another lunatic that texts military operations in a Signal group chat.
But not only that, like, we may have him for another 4 years because they're trying to change all of that crap. And
yeah, my prediction, if Trump lasts another 4 years, because you never know what happens. If he lasts another 4 years, that if there's rigging involved, they're going to put our good boy puppet J.D. Vance into office, and he's going to lead for 8 years.
J.D. Vance needs like a clown car.
He does. He's, on a side note, I've been very amused by all of the J.D. Vance memes. Just that, especially after the interview with Trump and Vance and Vladimir Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. And after that meeting, all of the Vance memes that came out were absolutely incredible. 10 out of 10.
That meeting was so embarrassing to watch.
Never let that man have peace.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, but that's all about the text messages.
I mean, the one point that I want to add to this is the fact that they were using emojis.
They were using emojis.
What?
Those are the people in charge of the defense of our nation.
Yes, emojis are here now, like a part of life, but over a text thread, you're planning your war plans. My favorite is when they were like, no, this didn't happen. And when it did, there's no denying it. How, whatever, I can't. Pisses me off.
Yes, and that's the way that they're going to get out of it, is by claiming, oh, everything we did was not top secret, so we don't need to, we're okay. It's okay that we included Jeffrey Goldberg. They have taken kind of a step back on that approach and been like, yeah, we messed up. But overall, it's embarrassing.
I think when they were like, this isn't top secret, and they said, then show us the texts, show us the thread, and then they were like, no. I was like, then it is top secret.
Yes, Jeffrey Goldberg did call their bluff by posting the full rest of the chain. He said, oh, okay, then you wouldn't mind.
Mm-hmm. I think he was smart.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was smart to wait until after.
Because the actual text chain happened on March 15th. And then the bombing happened March 15th, and then everybody else in the country found out. But Jeffrey Goldberg knew 2 hours early because he was in a text chain. So, good times.
I can't.
Anyway, back to you, Trista.
Well,
like a news station I am.
better over here, kind of. You know Wendy Williams?
She's the one that's currently in a psychiatric facility claiming that she shouldn't be there and that her son is trying to screw her over.
Right, she's a talk show host.
Yes.
But Wendy Williams was just released and now trying to get out of her guardianship. So
they let her out?
Well, kind of.
Oh.
So last Monday, the judge overseeing the guardianship allowed her to leave the memory care floor for the assisted living facility and move to another area of the facility. So the guardianship isn't gone and she's not out of the facility, but because she's moved to this other area, she has more freedom to come and go, have visitors and all of this other stuff. But obviously Wendy wants to be out of guardianship, but right now they're just looking for less oversight in the meantime, less stipulations. I guess her guardian is now Sabrina Morrissey, who's a law attorney. And because after her ex-manager claimed that she was of unsound mind, it froze all of her Wells Fargo bank accounts, so she didn't have access to any of her money. And then Sabrina took over the guardianship. Anyway, yeah, Wendy appears to have given up alcohol and suffers from Graves' disease and lymphedema, which makes it hard for her to walk. So now she uses a scooter. Do you know what Graves' disease is?
I do not.
It's this is one of those things I was like, I have to look it up because Kassia's going to ask me.
Yeah, I was like, I don't even know what that is.
It's a disorder of the immune system that causes the thyroid gland to make too much thyroid hormone. It's basically your body's disease-fighting immune system, hormones and other issues. It's an autoimmune disease. Anyway, so at this time, she's currently looking at settlement for her guardianship, but I'm just glad that she got out of the memory care. And she doesn't have to be like, get me out. I'm not crazy.
I would be going insane. I'd go insane as well. I would be crazy by the end of it. They would have to keep me in there.
And all the people are like, oh, she's just crazy. There's nothing wrong with her. Or she's just crazy, so we're not going to let her out because she actually can't leave. And she's like, no, I literally am fine. And they're like, that's her memory talking.
Oh my gosh. Poor Wendy.
She's the one that I always quote when she's like, denial is a river in Egypt. Your husband is gay.
Yes. I know that I am vaguely familiar with Wendy Williams. I know that she was a talk show host, and
she cracks me up.
I know her mostly because of the fact that she's stuck in this memory care facility. And I feel kind of bad about that, but not enough.
Well, she's out now and in a different part of the facility. She's just working on trying to get more rights. So anyway,
Dang.
Well, that's it for that news story. What's yours next one, Kassia?
An unfortunate one. Yesterday was the 28th. Yesterday, I don't know when it'll be for you guys, but for me it was the 28th. Myanmar was hit with a huge earthquake. It was magnitude 7.7. It could be felt in both Thailand and southwest China, so it was a pretty significant earthquake.
I think they said the biggest over the last 200 years. Is that?
I can't confirm or deny that. I haven't looked into that. I can say, and this is according to the BBC, more than 1,600 people have died. More than 3,000 have been injured. One thing to consider is it has been really hard to get information about the impact of the earthquake out of Myanmar, just because it has been undergoing / has undergone a military coup, which occurred in 2021. Mm-hmm. So there's already current unrest, I suppose, in Myanmar, but that's just an unfortunate thing that has happened, is a huge earthquake. Like, earthquakes happen all over the world, but they're not often as big as this one in Myanmar was. So
I think this one hits for me a little bit closer to home because we have a family member who's not directly related to us, but like married into the family, who's her family. She has family in Myanmar. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like, I don't know, it's unsettling. And again, the coup there and everything, it's just all scary. And then the earthquake on top of it is just a lot.
Yeah. So having, that's a big thing going on in the world. It may not be something that impacts us immediately right now, but it happened. Yeah. Felt it was important to talk about it. And there's still, it happened yesterday. They're still trying to recover people. There are still hundreds of people missing. The infrastructure has probably taken a huge toll. So anyway, that's all. Not much else about that. Just that happened.
Right. Well, thank you. Next one for me. Sydney Sweeney and Glenn Powell reignite romance rumors after Sydney Sweeney and Jonathan Davino's marriage was called off. Do you know who Sydney Sweeney is?
Yes, I know who Sydney Sweeney is.
And you know Glenn Powell?
Yes. They were in a movie together because they were doing a lot of press and everyone was like, OMG, they're dating. And they were like, no, we're not. We're in committed relationships.
Right.
I don't know about Glenn Powell. I don't know what he's in. I just knew Sydney Sweeney was engaged.
So, yes, Glenn Powell did previously admit that they'd played up the romance rumors with their movie, Anyone But You, in 2023. And that was like... He says that was Sydney. She was just very smart in that way and was able to play it up. But this was all when she was still planning her wedding with Jonathan, who is a film producer, just so you're aware. Anyway, these rumors only started after Glenn liked her post. She posted a recent picture to Instagram like a couple days ago without her wedding ring on. And so everybody was like... Glenn is back with Sydney. And I'm just like, no, that does not just be, I don't know. I like people's pictures, but that doesn't mean I am in love with them.
But you'd be surprised.
I think.
Well, had he not been liking pictures and then suddenly was liking pictures?
I mean, I don't think people.
Behavior?
I don't think people noticed until the news that their marriage was called off started, and then people started paying attention.
Wow.
The other thing I think was interesting is Jonathan Davino produced Anything But You, which Sydney and Sweeney and Glenn Powell starred in.
So I don't think that they broke up because that they were a thing in the movie. I don't think that's it.
No, I don't think so either. I think, well, after reading a few other stories, it sounds like their marriage was on the rocks or not their marriage, but their wedding was kind of rocky anyway for a few months. And right now they're just trying to figure out if they're going to be in a relationship or not. So it's just kind of all rocky, but people now have blown this Glenn Powell thing out of proportion, which is just crazy.
They'll forget about it next week.
Right.
Like,
but Sydney Sweeney is very popular, so this is probably going to carry them along. If this is a new Justin Bieber, Selena Gomez thing, I might lose it.
I have no comment on that.
I don't think it will be, but
this is why you're the pop culture person, because this is just that happened.
Yeah,
that is happening.
It's a lot of talk.
Yes. If somebody scrutinized my relationships in the same way that celebrities' relationships are scrutinized, I wouldn't want to be a celebrity.
No way.
I would. No, thank you.
I think everybody at some point goes in their life being like, I would like to be famous someday. But then when you see what that comes with, you're like, never mind.
Yeah. I debated telling you to just call me Ketchup on this podcast because I didn't want people to know my name.
Too late.
Yeah, I already know too late. Especially because our names are so unique. So
your name is unique.
Your name is also unique.
No, people are like, oh, you were named Trista after The Bachelorette? And I was like, The Bachelorette came after I was born.
Yeah, well, that'll just happen forever probably.
Anyway.
But
all right, that's all for me. Next one for you.
Okay, this one's not a fun one. They're never fun ones. I thought it was important to talk about the recent series of abductions by ICE, especially in relation to legal residents or students who are in the country and people that are speaking.
Sorry, I sneezed.
Bless you, Trista. I don't know if how we'll cut that out, but
We'll leave it in.
we'll leave it in. But sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh yes, there's been a series of abductions. A lot of these students are found to have been participating in anti-Israel and pro-Palestine protests. A couple of the most notable abductions are, I'm going to butcher this name, unfortunately, but Rumeysa Öztürk is a 30-year-old Turkish graduate student at Tufts University. They were surrounded on the street by plainclothes immigration agents with covered faces and then detained.
I saw that video. That was crazy. I was so grossed out by that.
She was on her way to have dinner with some friends to break her Ramadan fast, and because she was no longer in a private establishment, ICE immigrants just approached her and rounded her up. At a Thursday news conference, Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is the son of Cuban immigrants, I might add, said his State Department is revoking student visas as part of its response to pro-Palestinian activism on college campuses. We gave you a visa to come and study and get a degree, not to become a social activist that tears up our university campuses, Rubio said.
Makes me so mad.
Estimating that more than 300 visas had been revoked. So I'm calling this out because students are currently being, especially if you're an immigrant, if you're in the country on a visa, and your citizenship status does not protect you. A legal resident, a permanent resident of the United States, Mohammed Khalil, a graduate student at Columbia University, until this past December, he was in his university-owned apartment I needed to look at this article. Essentially, he was also abducted by several immigration and customs enforcement agents. They entered his home, took him into custody, and he has been in custody since then. He has a green card. Like, he is a permanent resident of the United States, and when ICE officials were asked about it, they said, we're able to take away, we're able to revoke visas. And then when they were informed by an attorney that, hey, this person was not here on a student visa, this person is a permanent resident with a green card, the agent said they were revoking that instead. So I definitely could have not butchered that news story a bit more, but essentially just there are multiple instances of students that have, I believe in Mohammed? It's not spelled the same, but in Khalil's case, the Columbia University student, he had participated in a pro-Palestine protest, which got him targeted. And then in Rumeysa Öztürk's position, she had posted an article, I want to say, a pro-Palestine article in the student newspaper, something along those lines, and that is what got her targeted by ICE. So, super scary stuff going on.
Just like getting silenced left and right for having freedom of speech, which apparently you can't have anymore.
Yep, freedom of speech only applies if you agree with the government. Isn't that exciting? So when I go missing next week, you'll know why.
It also only applies if you're actually a citizen. Everybody else needs to be silent. This is like Handmaid's Tale. Oh, never mind. I'm not even going to get into that.
Yes, I have more, another story just about how the government is trying to limit freedom of speech, but I can go into that later.
Okay. Well, thank you, Kassia, for that one. This next one isn't happy news. And I don't know if you've seen it. That's your job. I don't know if you've seen it.
That's your job. Oh, I think I know where you're going.
Where am I going?
No, continue. Impractical Jokers.
Impractical Jokers, Joe Gatto, accused of inappropriate behavior by 2 teenage girls. Did you read about this?
I didn't read too in depth about it. I just know that he had been accused of behavior and that he like put himself into some sort of facility. And then I also saw that another member of Impractical Jokers had been accused by somebody else of being a creep.
I think that other story hasn't had a lot of backing because, well, and I'll explain why. I think it's more TikTok related. Like these two teenage girls are more like vocal about it. Anyway, reportedly he encouraged them to lift up their tops so he could stroke their stomachs and encourage the two girls to kiss each other. Oh my goodness. It was accused by he was also accused by a former employee days after the allegations came out. Allegations came out that described the sexual harassment. The two girls have now gone public and shared a 10-minute long TikTok about the alleged messages of the comedian asking them for nudes as recently as December 2024. Joe does have a wife and kids, so obviously a lot's going on, but he did say, "I've used poor judgment and as a result have violated the trust of people I love most. But anyone who knows me at all knows full well that I would not assault anyone." The girls have claimed things were never physical, but did share that it was upsetting to have a 50-year-old man invite them to a hotel when he is married with kids. On March 26th, he entered an inpatient program and canceled upcoming tour dates. Obviously, again, it's just another example of, gross things happening in the media. And I don't know if, I don't know. I just, like, with everything with P. Diddy and all of that type of stuff, I just am, I don't know, nervous that, I don't know. I want justice for people,
Yeah. I think, unfortunately, that's something I've come to find as I get older, that maybe 2% of all of the celebrities are fully good to the core.
Yeah.
And that the remaining 98%, to a certain degree, you should judge a little bit.
It's just, like, really upsetting because I like Impractical Jokers. It's funny, but now it's, like, kind of disgusting to watch.
That's... Ugh. Yeah. But I suppose that happens with lots of... I don't know. I think I just feel the same way as I do just any other celebrity that comes out as being a creep, is just disappointment.
Yeah.
So...
Anyway, that's that news story.
How fun. My next one is kind of a series of events that loosely occurred that I don't have dates on because it happened over the course of several days, but it's been amusing to watch unfold. So essentially, the second lady, so JD Vance's wife, Usha Vance, had a visit scheduled for like a cultural tour of Greenland. Now, to provide some context, Trump has been, over the past few months, talking about how America's going to take Greenland and Greenland's going to become part of America and that we're going to be so much better for them because America's just...
the greenest.
So much better. I think Trump just wants Greenland for its resources and land.
Of course.
I digress. I mean, there are, I'll get into it later, but part of JD Vance's appeal to Greenland is that China's going to try to take you instead. But anyway, Usha Vance had this tour scheduled. And they sent representatives from the U.S. to Greenland to knock on doors of people's houses and say, hey, where the Usha Vance is coming, I don't think they wanted these families to host, but I think they wanted these families to, like, maybe interview or, like, talk to the Vance family.
Were they like, hell no?
Not to that extent, but basically they said, thank you, but no thank you. They were just like, we really have no interest in entertaining you, Usha Vance, while you are in Greenland. So instead, so after this happened, after they found out that Greenland was not going to have a reception service for Usha Vance, JD Vance has now come out and said, okay, I'm coming with you. I'm coming with you to Greenland. And then they're trying again, and Greenland's like, no, we have no interest in providing this accommodating reception service that you are requesting. Because for some reason, JD Vance is tone deaf and does not seem to understand that when you, maybe threaten's too strong of a word, when you suggest that your land and people are going to become part of America, regardless of what you want, especially after just the volatility of the American government in general currently. And then you go over there and say, hey, we want to bring camera crews and show the people of Greenland how awesome we are. And then Greenland said no, and you're salty about. I have a question for JD Vance. Did you say thank you for their time? Did you say please and thank you? Did you say please when you asked? Did you say pretty please?
Well, I mean, I'm not shocked by this news because that's the whole reason they want to make Canada their 51st state. It's for the resources, the lumber, the trees, they want to use resources. And as we see in America sucks the resources dry here.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks it dry, doesn't care about the environment.
We're trying to privatize our national parks. Like, we have some of the most beautiful land in the world, and we've done an excellent job of taking care of the beautiful land that we have. And now we're trying to privatize that beautiful land, so you have to pay private people to visit their beautiful land.
It's so gross.
And those people will never be you or I or anybody we know, because we're not wealthy. So, but overall, it's been an amusing case to unfold, is that as we speak, Vance and his wife are in Greenland, but instead they're visiting the U.S. military base in Greenland, and they are not doing the cultural tour that they wanted so badly. So, because yes, that is, and I think Trump gets it from Putin, because Trump idolizes Putin. And Putin invaded Ukraine for what? Resources.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's one of the huge things that Putin is arguing in this treaty, is he's like, oh, we want to keep this super productive nuclear plant that used to be Ukraine's, but we stole it from them because we invade. And that's how, like, Trump looks up to Putin. So Trump views Greenland and Canada and was like, yeah,
I'm gonna do that too.
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna expand my country. And that's not what you do to your friends. No. You don't go to your friends' houses and say, I'm taking up this part of the closet space now. You don't do that to your friends, okay?
I'm just gonna sit my stuff right here.
If your friend really likes you, that your friend might open up some closet space anyway, you know? And then you open up closet space at your house and you be friends.
That's
but
too
no.
Socialist.
Instead, Trump went in there and pooped all over Greenland's closet.
Not poop.
And then said, let me have some room in your poopy closet.
Ew.
And that was a bad metaphor, but it got the point across, okay? We treated our friend terribly, and then we said, please be nice to us. And they said no, and we got salty.
I just want to know what you would do if JD Vance knocked on your door and said, hey, want to chat?
I don't even know what I would I might laugh in his face. Be like, can I get a camera in here? I would have pulled, you know how Mom told us about Hazel Jean, when people from other religions would come to her house and say, we're going to tell you about God. And Hazel Jean would agree, as long as she could tell them about the LDS church, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I would pull a Hazel Jean on JD Vance. I'd be like, you can come in here, but I'm going to tell you about why the U.S. should work under Greenland's rule. How about that?
But then it would just be another argument with Ukraine. It would just be another embarrassing moment for him.
Yeah. Anyway, it's just go Greenland. I stan the rejection of J.D. Vance and his wife.
This makes me want to relearn some sign language to like do some. If he came up to my door, I would start
just aggressively signing. No words, just fury in your eyes.
Signing just swear words at him. The only one I know is the bullshit one.
That would be amazing. I love that for you.
Anyway,
that would be. Now we need to get a doorbell camera just so we can film that. Because JD Vance is for sure gonna want to come visit your house.
Mine specifically.
Yes, because if I'm there, I'm converting them to socialism. So and you're just going to aggressively sign at them.
Aggressively saying bullshit at them. Oh gosh. Okay. Last story. Supposedly, Megan Fox and MGK will not be raising their baby together, according to Daily Mail.
Oh, well, because I heard they broke up, which is wild, because I thought that she got a ring on her finger that could never come off, or else it would damage her.
Well, it could come off, but it would cause pain.
Exactly.
Well, it's off. It's been off for a while. A couple years now, I think.
New album coming out about this ring.
Well, I guess MGK reportedly was messaging other girls cheating on Megan Fox.
What a jerk. Has he seen Megan Fox?
I know.
Does he have it? It's like when I'm gonna butcher his name, Barry Keoghan, the one that cheated on Sabrina Carpenter.
Yeah.
Have you seen Sabrina Carpenter?
I know.
Have you seen Megan Fox? And now, don't get me wrong. Megan Fox, I haven't seen her recently.
She looks pretty sure she's like Anne Hathaway.
Does she, though? Because I've seen her. I saw her after she got some work done, and I said, so she just looks like all the other 40-year-old women in California that also got work done.
I mean...
Because she used to be absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I think she's gorgeous. Regardless. 2030.
You're going to show me a 2025 picture and I'm going to laugh because in my head she's not absolutely going to look the same.
Well,
I think maybe that's the magic of Anne Hathaway. Is she looks the same? Maybe does Anne Hathaway have work done? I need to Google this.
She probably has. Yeah, I think she has Botox. I think she talked about having Botox. I mean, regardless, anyway, let me go back to the story.
Oh, you're pulling her up. Okay, it's okay.
I mean, I can pull her up still. So supposedly she asked her ex, Brian Austin Green, for help. So she currently has 3 boys with him. And so this is Megan Fox's first girl.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. So honestly, this is just suspicious to me because, she's always said that MGK has a great relationship with his daughter and she really respects it because he has an older daughter. Mm-hmm. And so it's just suspicious and it sounds like rumors. And Megan was pretty adamant about the boys being in their dad's life. So I doubt she would try to keep the baby away from MGK. But even then, can you imagine the media frenzy that would cause if MGK was not able to see his baby? But he just posted a picture with the baby, like saying like my baby was born. So I don't know. I think these are all just fueled rumors and craziness.
Wow. That's a lot about 2 people that I don't know. She does not look the same. She is still beautiful, but she does not look the same.
Okay. Well,
gosh. Everybody that ages is just going to look like her. That's what society does now. So we all want to look like Megan Fox. Featuring Sabrina Carpenter. Why do people cheat on these? Why are people cheating on these beautiful women?
I don't know. She's so beautiful.
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
You mean I have to trust a man looking like I do now, and Sabrina Carpenter couldn't even trust her man?
Right.
Are you kidding me? Anyway, my last piece was on immigration, somewhat. There's so much going on with immigration. There's two pieces. First piece is not that we don't have, but we are suddenly so not suddenly, because we always have. Wow, let me take a step back. Let me rewind. America is actively working to deport immigrants. That is what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
As a result, in Florida, they don't have enough workers. I believe on the farms and the factories, they have run out of employees. So they have filed an act to try and repeal or push back or enact, or I don't know what they're doing to the law, but they're trying to lighten the child labor laws in Florida. Because they've run out of migrants. So they're trying to do things such as allowing children to work overnight on school nights, and I believe lowering the age of, or maybe the age of the age of being able to work is at 14. But they're trying to lower, or what's the word I'm looking for? Diminish, repeal, wear away, erode the child labor laws that protect children from being forced to work. Because now that they are allowing more children to work in more egregious conditions, parents aren't, if you're a parent and you're struggling to pay the mortgage, you're now allowed to force your kid to go working instead of going to school. And the other piece of the immigration discussion, I believe last week I brought up...
Wait, can I comment on that
go
last?
for it.
It's like we're going backwards.
Oh, we are. It's not like we are. It is. We are.
It's like
we are going backwards.
The Industrial Revolution. Like that's what the kids were doing. And now we're like heading back there. It's kind of weird to watch.
Yes, it's...
And I mean, I feel like all of these boomers and Gen Y are, I don't know what the word is, idealizing their past and being like, it was so much better when child labor laws were a thing, or weren't a thing, so let's, I don't know. I think they're just like not like the ethics are not there. They're like not,
well,
they don't compute.
A lot of current boomers are lucky in that child labor laws were enacted when they were born. Child labor laws would have affected more of the silent generation, so the one generation older than the boomers. The boomers look back. They never had to experience child labor. Part of the reason boomers were so lucky was because America, against popular opinion, was pretty dang social.
Right.
Like, we were so pro-union. That's why a man could afford a home and his stay-at-home wife and 2 to 3 kids on $30,000 a year. Right. Was because he had a union that protected him. We have strict union laws under our good old man. I believe it started under our good old man Ronald Reagan, but that could also just because I want to blame everything on our good man Ronald Reagan. But regardless, they are trying to ease up on child labor laws, which is not great.
I mean, here's the thing. I do understand that, but knowing what I do about generational trauma and like the generational things that people adopt, that's why I'm saying like the boomers alive now are like, let me keep the ideals that my parents bestowed upon me, and kids should work. Yeah. And because their parents were like, these are great conditions, but it's just so gross.
Because that's the other thing is with this push to push out migrants, we need to fill the workforce somehow. They're going to look at children and they're going to look at private prisons, right. Which is just legalized slavery, which kind of ties into, I believe last week, correct me if I'm wrong, I talked about how a plane of Venezuelan supposed gang members was shipped to El Salvador. Well, there's kind of updates on that, and the reason I bring this up is to give you a rundown, was this plane was full of theoretically Venezuelan gang members. Well, there were people on that plane that had lawyers saying, we are not gang members, and we are going to be treated like gang members because we are not, there's no due process. Because if you remember, the White House invoked the Alien Enemies Act, which does not require a lot of the red tape that normal deportation requires. So they sent this plane out despite the fact that a judge told them to halt. And I bring this up mostly because you are seeing a lot of this across the country, is a lot of judges putting a halt to a lot of legislation that Trump is trying to enforce via executive orders. And these judges are saying, no, you can't do that. And the Trump administration is pushing back. And so this is kind of just an overarching theme of the Trump administration trying to, because this happens a lot, we've been bombarded left and right with news and all these acts, and he's doing all this stuff, and it's hard to keep up with. It's overwhelming. And this is kind of the next step in that process of the judges are now pushing back on a lot of those executive orders and legislation that he pushed. And it's going to be interesting to see how it unfolds, because if the judicial branch loses, that's like a surefire way to determine, we're going to be in a dictatorship for the next 10 years. If the judicial branch is able to hold on to its power of the judiciary, which is meant to be a check and balance on the executive branch, the judiciary branch is able to hold that check and balance, we might have a chance, folks. I don't know.
Slim, but we may have a chance.
It's slim. But anyway, that's going on, is that Trump's trying to deport people. The judges are saying no. And Trump is saying, you can't do that. And the judges are saying, but we can. So,
well,
it's riveting stuff out there.
Well, thank you so much for your news.
You're welcome. Why'd you say that to me with such a sinister smile on your face?
I was more saying, thanks for the news. It wasn't my favorite, but thanks.
I told you I tried to be more on top of it this week.
You know what? I appreciate
Last week was round 1, and round 1 was rough. This week was round 2, and I give myself a B.
I think
maybe
we
a B
did
plus.
Okay this week.
Good.
I think we didn't ramble.
I love this live
mute.
critique that we're doing that everyone can hear. This is what keeps me up at night. Is I'm like, is that a good one or a bad one?
I feel like we did good with not the and random breaks, and I don't know what I'm doing.
I need to say that more often. I can't. I need the bar to stay low.
No. I need my editing to be easier.
Oh, I see how it is. I see where your motivations lie. Well, thank you for telling me things about Sydney Sweeney and Megan Fox.
Of course. Well, everyone, this was another episode in the books for us. I think we did pretty well. Again, let us know any feedback you have, constructive feedback. I don't want to hear that this is bullshit. If you feel that way, fine. But that's not constructive for me. Anyway.
And it has to only be feedback to Trista, because I won't be reading any comments. They will hurt my feelings.
I'll show her all the good ones.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that'll suffice.
Anyway, well, thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of Tea and Ketchup. You can follow us on Instagram at TeaandKetchup Podcast. You can follow my personal podcast, Authenticity Speaks, where it goes into more of the mental health stuff and personal life things for me. You can follow my TikTok at It's Tris0, or you can follow my Instagram, which is also It's Tris0, but it has an underscore. And do you want them to follow you?
No, I don't have any plugs. You don't need to follow me on nothing.
Okay. Well, thank you guys, and we will talk to you later.